Hello comrades, so it will be second episode about the election in France in 2022. Yesterday I present you the poster of Fabien Roussel, the leader of the Communist Party of France, and also I said a little about the other candidates. So today I prepared photo, so maybe my English skills are not very good, but photo which I prepared for you will be better to present all the details. So maybe firstly I will present you the scores for the election in 2012 and 2017. So the election in 2012, it is this. So as you see, this election, the winner of this election was François Hollande, and he's also socialist, but also, of course it is not somebody who interests us. He's a social liberal or liberal. But here is these three candidates: is Jean-Luc Mélenchon, Philippe Poutou, and Nathalie Arthaud. So as you see, these two Trotskyist candidates was the last places in this election, and Jean-Luc Mélenchon is 11%. So it was 2012, and now I will show you the results in 2017, because it was the same candidates, but the result was these two of Trotsky's candidates is the results are very are the same. This Nathalie Arthaud here is 0.6, and in this election it was 0.5. So, and Philippe Poutou here is 1,9, and here is 1,15. So as you see, this result is the same, but you can find the difference in the score of Jean-Luc Mélenchon. Jean-Luc Mélenchon was here is 11%, but in 2017 is 1958, and you can see that the Macron, who won this election, is only 4% more than Jean-Luc Mélenchon. So it was the result of the election 5 years ago and 10 years ago. And now I will present you these candidates, and they say something about their parties. And as you see, in 2017 there was 3 candidates. Now we have 5 candidates. So firstly I will present Fabien Roussel. It is this guy. So as you see, it is the photo from 2018, but I take this photo because it is a logo of Communist Party of France, and as you see, the logo of Communist Party of France, it is the star, but star with something I don't know what is this, but it is not a communist symbol. In the time of the Maurice Torres, the Communist Party of France used a hammer and sickle and other communist symbolic. Now they liquidate all this symbolic. Now is only this star. So the history of the Communist Party of France, in my opinion, it is history of three degeneration. First degeneration of this party, it is the degeneration in the time of the after death of Comrade Stalin, and also after the Congress, after the secret report of Khrushchev. So it was provoke big crisis in the communist movement, also in the communist movement in France, and many intellectuals in France, which before are supported Communist Party, they started to criticize Soviet Union, and also they didn't want it participate in Communist Party anymore. And this party started to make an evolution to the Euro-communism. You know history, so I will not repeat it. So it is first step of degeneration of this party. Party which in this time was a massive party. This party is very, very strong in the when the Second World War was finished, because Communist Party was very active in the resistance movement, and also the victory of the Red Army, Soviet Union in the Second World War, make communist ideas in France very, very popular. But in the first step of degeneration, it is 1956. After, we have second step of degeneration in 1990s. In 1990s, when the Soviet bloc, socialist bloc, was destroyed, we had counter-revolution in the Eastern Europe and in the Soviet Union, and the communist parties in Eastern Europe was dissolved. They changed their names to social democratic parties, and it was also the big offensive of the international bourgeoisie. They started to talk about the finish of the history and stuff like this, that in this time Communist Party lose many members, and also these parties lose many of their influence, and we have a third step of degeneration. I think that it was started in 2012, of course a few years before, but in 2012 Communist Party didn't present their candidates to elections. They started to support the reformist Jean-Luc Mélenchon, which I present also here. So they now I listened speeches of Fabien Roussel, his interview which he made 1 month ago, and he said that this period is finished, that this period was a catastrophe for the Communist Party, because in the people started to asking questions. If you don't present yourself to the elections, why we need to be a member of this party? We will join the Melenchon party. So to this decision to present themselves in this election, it is also decision to be or not to be for this party. This party was very strong in the 1950s. Now it's only 40,000 of members. It is the information from the Fabien Roussel. I heard that in 2012 this party have 100,000 members. So in 10 years they lose 60% of the members of this party. So yes, Fabien Roussel want to renovate this party, that they it's sure that he will participate in this election, because some comrades ask me question if these people, it is sure that they will find signatures. It's not sure for everybody here, but for the Fabien Roussel it's sure, because the communist party is very strong in the regions. They have many of people in the municipalities, in the local parliaments. So they need to find the 500 signatures of the president of the city and things like this. Politically, it is. We can find in his discourse a little critique of the capitalism, that today capitalism is not working in the question of the epidemic, but it's not very radical, I think. But the details about the discourse I will present other day. Today only I wanted to present the photo and for you, because too easy to understand and remember when you not only listen about somebody, but also you can see him. So it is here. And this is other candidate which he first time he present himself. His name is Anas Kazip. Now you don't see me. So yes, he is the youngest one, as you see, and also he is the only one with who came from the immigration. Of course, he speak. Okay, I will not speak about details like this, but the other members of the other candidates, it is the white French people, traditional French people, and he is from emigration. And for me, the worker who lived in the region Parisian, it's normal that most of people which I see every day in my work, they are from emigration, but not from many of them are emigrated like me. Anas Kazip, I think that he was born in France, but I didn't ask him, I didn't check, but it is not important. Important is that this strategic decision of this small Trotskyist organization Revolution Permanente to present Anas Kazip, it is a sign to the people like him who who came from immigration or are born in the immigration families, and I think that it is very good sign. So it is first advantages of him. Second, that he was active in the strike movements in the railways and also in the Yellow Vest movement. He is known in France. Every of these candidates is known in France. You can find there in television. Not very often, but Fabien Roussel, he is the member of parliament. Nathalie Arthaud also very often is in television. Not very often, but she was invited sometimes. Philippe Poutou also. Jean-Luc Mélenchon very often. And Anas Kazib, he participated in the talk show. So what? No, maybe I will say something about his campaign, because I listened his speech and also the speeches of other his comrades from this organization. I think that he didn't start this campaign well. Why? Because in my opinion, when I knew him earlier from the Yellow Vest movement and from the strike movement, he was a person who wanted to unite people. The Yellow Vest movement, it is the movement of unification of different people from different political origin, and the Yellow Vest movement was successful for building a mass movement. If Anas Kazib present himself for this election like a very active participant of this Yellow Vest movement, I think that he have a chance to, I don't know, have a 3 or 5% of the votes, because this movement was very popular in France. But he started campaigning about speeches about Trotsky. As you see, this result of the 2 other Trotskyist candidates, it's a little, it's 1% or less. So now it's the question for Anas Kazib and his comrades. What do they want? If they want to present, to build a small Trotskyist sect, and with this Anas Kazib, maybe he will reach 0.5% of the vote, 1%, or he wants to unite people, unify people who are not Trotskyist, who don't care about Trotsky and about the strategy of for me it's a little problem that he is a syndicalist and in the same time he presents himself like a Trotskyist, but Trotsky wanted to militarize the trade unions in Soviet Union, and also in the 1921 he started to make law that every worker who came late, who come to work not in time, he will come after 5 minutes. He will be punished for sabotage. and stuff like this. So Trotsky was, in my opinion, in this time was an enemy of the trade unions, and it is not very comfortable to be trade unionist and in the same time speaking all the time about a guy who hates a trade unionist. But we will see what strategy he will choose. I hope that I will have a possibility to make interview with him. I want to make interview with every candidate, but I think that they are not interested. They prefer to make interview to the bourgeois TV station, not to the communist YouTube channel. But we will see. I will ask, and also if they don't accept my invitation to serious conversation in internet, maybe I will try to make a short interview in the meeting, 2-3 minutes. Okay, but I don't know how it will work to this meeting in the time of epidemic. But in 2012 and 2017 I participated in this meeting. It is always good thing to listen good speech, radical anti-capitalist. Okay, so I presented Anas Kazib. Now I will present Nathalie Arthaud. So this is Nathalie Arthaud. I think that it is speech from election in 2012 or 2017. Now she's a little older, but I chose this photo because you see the contrast between Litouvrier and Communist Party of France. That Litouvrier used this traditional communist symbolic, and also Nathalie Arthaud present herself like communist, in candidate communist. It's very important for me that she not shamed about this. And I could say many positive things about this organization, Litouvrier Workers' Fight. It is the traduction, but after 8 years which I spent in France, I see that Litouvrier it's a sect. It's a sect in this term that they all the time it's like a church. It's like a church all the time. They are not interesting, in my opinion, to fighting with capitalism or take a power. They are interesting to speaking about the Trotsky. In my opinion, this is if you think about taking power, your strategy is like a strategy of Lenin. So you try to find the alliance with other class like peasants in the case of Lenin, or with the nations who wanted to be independent from Tsarat, and your alliance, your partners, you change your strategy. You are you are pragmatic in this way. The Lituvrier is not pragmatic. Every time in every meeting they speak the same things. It's always like it's for me it's very similar to the mass in the Catholic Church. That it's always the same, always the citation from Bible, always citation from Trotsky, and it's funny, not funny. It's good to see this big meeting with the red flag and singing international, and this is a massive meeting. There are thousands of people, but as you see, they don't know what to do to make be popular in this election. I think that Natalie Arthaud will take a last place in this election. I don't know if she presents herself, but I didn't hear about other candidates from Lituvrier, so I think that she will be candidate. But I didn't heard about that she restarted. So Natalie Arthaud, there was a candidate from Lituvrier. Her name was Arlette Laguerre, who in 1995 and 2002 made a very big score. I think that 5% or stuff like this. Very, very good. 5% of the in French election, but now Natalie Arthaud is only 1/10 of this. And the problem with Natalie Arthaud is that when she participated in the debates, she is boring. She not listening to the people. I have impression that she learn by heart what she want to say, and she say, and that's all. But she not participate in this discussion. The debate, it is you have to attack somebody, and when he answer, you try to attack and Natalie Arthaud is not like this. So I think that if I have to choose, because in political level, the best two candidates for me is the Anas Kazip and Natalie Arthaud. I don't have. I will not vote because I am not French citoyen. I can vote in the local election and in the European election, but in the presidential election is reserved only for the French citizen. But if I have to choose, I will choose Anas Kazip because he is a worker. He is active. He was active in the radical movement in the streets, and she is teacher. She is intellectual and boring. So of course, very often when she's starting to speak about their analysis history, maybe not history, but analysis of capitalism, it's good critic of capitalism. I don't want to criticize her because this is all the committee central of this party who prepared these speeches, and it is good job, but the form of presentation it's not interesting for me. It's good way to sleep. Maybe not. No, it is not that she can't speak, but maybe it's me that I already listened many of speeches of Nathalie Arthaud, but I know what she will speak now, what will she speak next 5 minutes, and because it is always the same method of preparing the speeches. It's there are no surprise, and with this it's not a good strategy for the election. Okay, now I will present Philippe Poutou. This will be maybe we'll make it like this. Sorry, comrades, for wasting your precious time, but it is important what I want to make. So you see, this guy here 3 months ago was a member of the same organization, New Anti-Capitalist Party. Philippe Poutou was a candidate in 2012 and 2017, and in 2022, if I could understand, maybe I am mistaken, but if I could understand, now the Anas Kabzib wanted to be a candidate of NPA for the election. He wanted to be the candidate. Philippe Poutou also wanted to be candidate, and it is why the cameras of the Anas Kabzib from this party was expulsed. So the NPA, small Trotskyist organization, now will have 2 candidates. About NPA, I don't like the program of NPA, but this is the difference between Nathalie Arthaud and Philippe Poutou, that in the question of the political analysis, Liturier is better, but Nathalie Arthaud is teacher, and Philippe Poutou was a worker in car factory, in Ford factory in Bordeaux. Now this factory is closed. I don't know, he's a worker or he's in pensioner now, I don't know, or unemployed. But I prefer the way the speeches of him. He is not boring. He listening people and try to attack other member. Of course he's a little ridicule. I think that 5 years ago, in the time of the debate of all the candidates, he didn't want it to be in the photo with other guy. He said that he don't want to be in one photo with this criminal, or I don't know. So a little aventurist, but the media, day after this debate, they speak about this. So it was his success. we can discuss it is good strategy or not, but if you are a candidate from the anti-capitalist organization, you use the bourgeois media to present your program, present your organization, interest the people of your activity, and he did it, in my opinion, better than Natalia Arthaud. That people want to verify what they think about what is this party. About L'Itourvière, nobody wants to verify. But the political analysis of this NPA, it is not Trotskyism. I am not Trotskyist. I am very critical for Trotskyists, but the Trotskyists of the L'Itourvière, it is a Marxist tradition of thinking, that think in that tradition of the working class struggle and the priority of the working class in the struggle for the revolution, socialist revolution. The strategy of NPA, it is the strategy of the all the time building a leftist coalition with other leftists, try to find the coalition with the people from the middle class, or they try to speak a lot about these things which are in the mode, like the ecology, other stuff, and try to have now, for example, in this local election in Aquitania, Philippe Poutou was in the coalition with the party of Jean-Luc Mélenchon, and it is a social democratic party. And okay, the time of the biggest analysis of this candidate will be after. I will finish this presentation to speak something about the Jean-Luc Mélenchon. So it is Mélenchon. I think that it is photo from 2017. So as you see, he have a red scarf and red flower in his hand, and that's all. So the political analysis, if you have time, you can find photo from the election in 2012 and election in 2017. In 2012, when the biggest force who supported Mélenchon was the Communist Party, in his meetings this was the red flags and also the singing International. In 2017, the biggest force who supports him was this organization Independent France, and this is not a red flag but the flag of the France, and they were singing Marseillaise. So in one way, when Mélenchon speak to communists, he present himself like a communist. He spoke with Hugo Chavez. He spoke with Fidel Castro. He spoke with many people like this. And he have he in his life, because he is deputy member of parliament or senate many years, sometimes he has good initiative or good speeches, but politically it is the tradition of the French left from the French Revolution, with all this patriotism or nationalism, using this flag of the France. He have problem with German. Very often he speak about against Germany, and I think that it is a little nationalist mode of thinking. So it's complicated. It's true that he is not communist, and it's complicated to speak with, to make a short analysis who is Melenchon in politically, because he is clever, and he is capable to make a discourse very radical, and next day in the media he can say something very not radical. So he is a political guy with big experience, and I don't trust him. He all his life he worked. He earned big money from the politics. He worked only 2 years in his life in 1980s like a teacher, and after he started to earn money in politics. So in my opinion, he is radical social democrat who is capable to using very nationalist rhetoric. And I don't think that if he will be a president with all these people who support him, that France will change, that will be change in the imperialist politic of France will not change. That will be the continuation of the political imperialist politic of the socialist François Hollande, or imperialist politic of the socialist François Mitterrand. Because sometimes in the question of class struggle, he is maybe more radical, but in the international question, he is a typical French imperialist. Of course, he don't use this aggressive imperialist propaganda, but he is proud that French army is in all the continents. He will continue this. Okay, comrades. So I think that for today it will be over. We will find which candidates will be present. Now I present all these candidates. After I will starting to analyze the speeches or the program of these candidates, because next 3, 4, 6, 5 months it will be the most important question for the communists in France. And I think that it is good also to the leftists from other countries to know, to interest a little about this, because in other countries, in Poland, for example, there are no any communist candidate. and here you have four candidates who present themselves like the communists. It is something very important for my country, but also in other countries. It is French exception, and I think that the people from left, communist, Marxists from all the world have to analyze this election, analyze how to speak with people, how to build a mass movement, because of course I can say that I am not agree with that this strategy of Nathalie Arthaud. It's not good strategy, but 0.5%, it's a lot of votes. It is, I don't know, 100,000 votes. It's a mass movement who vote for Nathalie Arthaud. And for other is bigger and bigger. So I hope that these four candidates, if I have to choose, I will vote for Anas Kazip. After, I will vote for Nathalie Arthaud. After, for Philippe Poutou. And after, it will be all. Of course, it is Fabien Roussel, but I need to listen more his discourse, because his critic capitalism, which I heard, it's, I need to understand what did he want, what he want for the future, because I didn't heard from his mouth that he wants to build socialism. So I will analyze later, and that's all. I will not vote for Melenchon, because in my opinion he's social imperialist, but because many people from the left think about him and support him, I also spoke about him. So the question for me is Fabien Roussel. Who is Fabien Roussel? Because I am living in France, but I didn't interesting about him. Now I have to find his speeches and analyze.